All right, let's talk a little Blues. They're taking on the Dallas Stars tonight, who used to be the North Stars, the Minnesota North Stars.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
That is old school.
That is old school. They're taking on the Dallas tonight at the Scott Trade Center, and Andy Strickland is with us, who's forgotten more about hockey than we'll ever know. He's with KTRS, and he's with Fox Sports Midwest. Good morning, Andy.
That is, I take offense to that because of Kelly's knowledge for the National Hockey League.
That's right.
No, I'm not saying Kelly's knowledge. I'm saying the listener. You've forgotten more about hockey than all of us will ever know. That's what I'm saying. All right, so the trade deadline's coming up.
Yeah.
What are the Blues going to do?
Well, they've got salary cap room to do something if they want to. And I was told by Doug Armstrong a few days ago they're somewhere around $5 million in terms of how much room they'll have come March 2nd, which is the day of the deadline.
Okay.
I think they're going to add a defenseman. I really do. I mean, you look at Kevin Shattenkirk's injury. He's going to be out until late March with that abdominal injury after having surgery. You look at their forwards right now. I think they're set offensively. They may look to add a depth forward, but I think they're fine there. I think they'll look to add a defenseman plus insurance at the goaltending position. They could look to add a third goaltender in case one of these two guys go down.
Well, which is interesting because they had a third goaltender.
Yes, they did, but Martin Brodeur decided to retire.
Okay.
This is why the Blues really wanted him to hang around for insurance more than anything. But again, asking a Hall of Fame goaltender to basically be a shooter-tutor during practice probably didn't fly.
Yeah, we don't want him to be a shooter-tutor.
No.
I don't want to be a
shooter-tutor.
I don't want
not a real
hockey term.
I don't want to be a shooter-tutor either,
no.
to be honest with you.
Who would?
I don't know.
But for $700,000 you would be.
Yes, I would. All right. What are the names bandied about defenseman-wise?
Well, I mean, listen.
Any big names?
Not really.
Yeah.
You be honest. I mean, Mark Mathot was a bigger name who was available, who just signed a 4-year contract extension yesterday with Ottawa, so he's going to stay there.
Yeah.
Cody Franzen was another big name who was rumored to potentially be moved. He did get moved from Toronto to Nashville. It's funny because Nashville's the team that originally drafted him, so he goes back to the team that he came into the league with. So, those are two of the bigger names defensively. And again, you're not going to see a big splash like you saw last year from the St. Louis Blues when they brought in Ryan Miller.
Let me ask you this question then. What are some other moves that the Blues do or do not want to happen with other teams? I mean, who's making a move out there?
I don't think they can worry about what other teams are going to do. I mean, you look at Chicago, they're stuck near the cap. They've got very little wiggle room to make a move. So you look at them, you look at Nashville. Those are the top, the cream of the crop right now in the division. And the Blues are most likely going to face one of those two teams unless they find a way to win the division. But Nashville is showing almost no signs of slowing down right now. They've got a 4-point lead on the Blues. The Blues can catch them, but again, Nashville's a pretty good hockey club.
Can we talk for a moment about what has to be the longest tenured athlete here in St. Louis and doesn't get the attention or the respect he deserves, but he's probably been my favorite Blues player, Barret Jackman.
Yeah.
What a great guy he is.
No, he is, and he's going to pass Brian Sutter tonight on the all-time games list, which means he'll be second all-time in the history of the Blues organization in games played behind Bernie Federko. It really is amazing because you think about Barret Jackman, he really has never been a star player. He's never made an all-star team. He's never really been the Blues' top defenseman, but he's found a way to maintain a level of effectiveness for the Blues to want to keep him year after year after year. He gets one contract extension after another. I know he takes some heat from the Blues fans, but you talk to hockey people and people who truly understand the game and watch game in and game out throughout his entire career, and he has slowed down a little bit. But the bottom line is he's a really good hockey player, and there's a reason why the Blues took him in the first round several years ago.
I like him because he's a good guy. He's quiet, and every time you see him out, he's always nice to people. He's always good to people. He's always at a charity event or whatever else. I mean, he's just a good guy.
And that's not going to change. He married a St. Louis girl.
Right.
So he'll live here after his playing career. This is the last year of his contract, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens, this summer with Barret Jackman. Does he re-sign here, or does he finish his career elsewhere? What does he want to do? That's something going to be, that we'll be paying attention to for sure. But you think about Barret Jackman, he truly is a St. Louis Blue. You see very few players nowadays in all sports who begin their career, they're drafted by one organization, and they play virtually their entire career with one team.
That has to play somewhat of a role. The Blues look at that and say, you know
they don't
what?
Care.
No, well, I mean, I know they have to produce, but also
they don't care.
I think
part of it has to.
If you couldn't play at all, I would agree with you, McGraw, saying they don't care. But I think they take that into account a little bit But at the end of the day, is that going to be enough for him to re-sign here?
Right. I mean,
Probably not.
He might be a coach or a scout or a front office guy when he's done because he's a good guy and a good representation. But playing wise,
and I shouldn't sit here and say they're not going to re-sign him. What I'm trying to say is that's not going to be the end-all, be-all factor as to what they do.
It's going to be their needs, and can he fulfill those needs?
Correct.
Hockey Sense. What's going on with that?
Thursday night this week.
Thursday night, Obi
Jamal
Clarks.
and I, Obi Clarks, will be there. Then Sports Medicine following Hockey Sense at 8.
So you and Jamal Mayer's hanging out at Obi Clark's?
Yes.
Not a bad deal.
I
What
heard
time?
you Sunday night, though. Oh, Sunday afternoon. Sunday morning?
Maybe that was 2 Sundays ago. Oh, you did hear me this past every Sunday
Yeah.
with Jim Holder or John Hadley.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Hockey Sense Thursday at Obi Clark's, and then you tonight at Fox Sports Midwest.
You know what's funny, real quick? Sunday morning.
10 seconds.
I mentioned that I had frozen pipes in my rental unit. One of our listeners who owns an incredible company, OJ Lawton Plumbing, called and they fixed it. Thank you, sir.
9 o'clock.